What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott. And as you can see by the title below, and I'm looking at my notes here, okay, so I apologize. 5 reasons your fine ass, yes, you, out of all the women in the world, even though this is very common, why you get ghosted, okay? It sucks. It's the worst feeling in the world. I've been there, done that. I've been on both sides. I've been ghosted, and I've ghosted. Hey, whatever, sue me. Don't unsubscribe, though. So, jumping right into this. The number one thing, and I truly do believe this is one of the most important things, and I'm not blaming you when I say this, but you can prevent it happening so much more than you realize. And that's your filtering process sucks. People who ghost, well, think of it like this. This is actually interesting. Let me just shut this door. I don't know if you guys hear the sirens, but when people ghost, a lot of the times it has nothing to do with you. It is just the type of person they are, their morals, their values, and things like that. The justifications they make up in their head, yada, 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 okay? It has nothing to do with you. So your job then is to filter these type of people out. Now, what does this look like? In my opinion, it's several things. I always say you have to start with the basics. Ask him what he's looking for. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but he could be lying. I still want you to ask it. If you don't know why, go look at my other videos. You still need to ask it. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to do your detective work. Okay, this is all still number one. The second thing is you need to do your detective work, which is, when was he last single? How long has he been single? You already asked him if he wants a relationship. Oh, he says he wants a relationship, but he's been single for 4 years, 3 years. Come on. Like, no. As much, ladies, I make a living off you all wanting a relationship. Trust me. If you're talking to a dude in New York, Austin, Florida, California, Seattle, Chicago, any of these type of places, Dubai, anywhere in the UK, London, if you're talking to these dudes who've been single for 3 years and they say, I want a relationship, right? But they've been single for 3 years. You know he's bullshitting you. You know he's bullshitting you, right? So that's the second question you should ask. Another one, what's your longest relationship? What else should I say? Is he newly single? If he is, how long? Like, was he cheated on in his last relationship? All these things are very important. I feel bad for saying that last one. Was he cheated on in his last relationship? Because sometimes that has nothing to do with him. But I see a lot of emotionally unavailable people come out of that. So it's just something I think you should, or information you should gather. Or a man who is newly single. Ladies, if he's been out of a relationship only for 6, 7, 8 months, he's gonna fucking turn away. That's just the truth, okay? So you gotta work on your filtering process. I have a lot of stuff on that. If you actually want to get my guides free, ladies, free. Pause the video. No, actually watch the video. It's good for me. But at the end of the video, go down to the link below. 9 free guides, okay? One of my guides is literally nothing but filtering. A whole guide on filtering men. Just do the things I say in there. You'll stop 90% of ghosting, okay? Second thing, this has a lot. This one kind of is your fault, okay? God, I hate to say it like that, but ghosting. Well, no, it's not, because you still trying to ghost someone despite this. But you're too nice. Ghosters love nice people. The way you have to understand this is we are risk avoidant creatures. People don't like shots to the ego, okay? And usually when you're a really nice person, or a person who is heavily looking for a relationship, sees the good in everybody, yada, 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 you have a lower barrier of entry. It doesn't mean you have lower standards, because you still want a quality guy, but your barrier of entry is lower because you see the good in people. You might trust them until they prove you otherwise. Like those type of things. Or you're just really nice. You're a people pleaser. Men love those type of women for several reasons. Number one, it's easier to get in. It's easier to trick these women. Not that they're more gullible. They just see the world in a different way. And ghosters, and when I say ghosters, I really mean emotionally unavailable people who like these type of women because it's easier to get in. They give them more chances. They give him the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't have to work as hard. Stuff like that. They get in. Too much happens, which would be the next point, but too much happens. He gets in his head, freaks out, and then he ghosts. Okay, but they like really nice women because they have a lower barrier of entry and they weasel their way in there. They sneak their way in there. And these women are very naive to dating. They're new to dating. They're just overall good people. And unfortunately, in dating, I have a book coming out, and one of the titles is called Love or Date Selfishly, Love Selflessly, right? You like that. And you have to be selfish when it comes to dating. Again, that'll be all in my book later on. But if you're a nice person, the chance of you getting ghosted or emotionally unavailable men gravitating towards you dramatically increases. Which kind of leads to the third thing. They're emotionally unavailable. Ladies, if you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, okay, it's the chances of it happening are so high. It is crazy. And here's why. I tell my clients this all the time, and I'll just hit this and then we'll go to the next point. No matter how great you are, no matter how well you play the game, no matter how tight your game is, they're always going to find an excuse because you are not the reason. You are not the reason that they're emotionally unavailable, that things, I have a lot of clients who will say, well, maybe if I did something differently, or I feel stupid because if I didn't do this, I feel like we'll still be talking. You might still be talking, but you're still going to get the same outcome, whether that's tomorrow, a week from now, 2 weeks from now. Like, he's still going to do the same thing. At least I've been doing this for 10 years. I have never been wrong. No one has ever came back to me and said, yeah, that emotionally unavailable guy who pulled away? Yeah, we're back together and we're married now. Never has happened, okay? So if they're emotionally unavailable, which, by the way, you can figure out through the first point or getting my guides down below on filtering, it's going to happen, unfortunately. Third or fourth thing is the intensity is too high. Now, what do I mean by intensity? Basically, the pace, the love bombing. And here's why this happens. So, to explain this briefly, because I talk about it in a lot of videos and a lot of articles and stuff. I've been writing a lot of articles lately. When you are talking to a guy who's emotionally unavailable, let's say, I know this is about ghosting, but a lot of ghosters are emotionally unavailable. You're not going to see that early on, because it lays dormant. I'm not saying every man has it, but if a man does have the emotional unavailability gene, from like getting heartbroken or how he is raised, whatever it is, however he got it, it lays dormant in him, okay? It lays dormant. It sits there and doesn't really mess with anything because these men still feel authentic feelings. They still want or believe they want a relationship. They still feel attraction, connection, yada yada, all the good stuff that you like, right? But to get those things, you obviously, to get some substance out of a relationship, you have to invest. And when you invest, it creates context, meaning the things you guys do and say over time that creates the seriousness of the relationship. And so when you guys are creating context through hanging out, hooking up, consistency, frequency, the amount of dates, the quantity, quality, whatever. Did I already say hooking up? Meeting friends or family, future planning, the fast pace, like all these type of things. I always say around the halfway point, around 4 to 6 weeks, you start to see a flip with these men, right? I call it the halfway point. You start to see a flip. And all of a sudden, these men who were great one morning, one day, last week, whatever, they start to change. And you're like, what the hell just happened? That's because the intensity. Again, if this is a normal dude who wants a relationship, he's emotionally available, this is great. People want to see that validation. People want to see that feedback that says, oh, cool, great, we're on the same page. I like this. But when that's not the case and he's emotionally unavailable, freaks out, get in his head, he pulls back, he runs, okay? The intensity is too much and these guys ghost, okay? And the reason they ghost is they don't like confrontation and accountability. Lastly is logistics, meaning logistics favor ghosting, or ghosting favors logistics, I guess you could say. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have things like long-distance relationships or anything like that. Of course, you can have plenty of clients in long-distance relationships. I have clients who got married and they started off long-distance. But just letting you know, I listed some things here. If you have any of these things going on, the logistics favor ghosting. Ghosting favors logistics. So long distance, started off casual, early sex, low date counts, like you're not going on a lot of dates, inconsistency, things like that, are going to most likely, if the guy does not want a relationship, is emotionally unavailable, piece of shit, whatever, you're most likely going to get a guy who ghosts you. And the reason for that is justification. He's going to, and a lack of accountability. It's much easier to, I'm not saying it's right, this sounds horrible, it's not right, but it's much easier to ghost someone when you're like, well, we weren't consistent in the first place, or I haven't seen her in 2 weeks, or it's long distance, it wasn't going to work out. And again, if you don't have the morals or values or respect for the person, and you don't like confrontation and accountability, you're going to justify it with logistics. Oh, well, we're casual anyway. Like we agreed to friends with benefits, or it's not, we've only been talking for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or I haven't seen her in a month, or it's long distance, it wasn't going to work out anyway. Like we haven't even met in the first, whatever it is, that type of stuff, you're going to get ghosted. Okay, so watch out for that, ladies. Now, with all that being said, if you want to work with me, ladies, links down below. If you want to get my 9 guides absolutely free that talk about almost everything I mentioned in this video, free, links down below. I love you all. Take care and peace.